Hi, welcome to the podcast for When the Curves Line Up for March 8, 2024, featuring the late winter Messier Marathon. Please see the article that includes diagrams of today's events on the website at whenthecurveslineup.com. Text by Jeffrey L. Hunt. In Chicago, sunrise occurs at 6:13 a.m. Central Standard Time followed by sunset at 5:50 p.m. Die-hard sky watchers are preparing for all-night telescope sessions to see all the objects on Charles Messier's 18th-century list of over 100 objects that were not to be confused with comets. Comets, historically named hairy stars, were the enigma of 18th-century astronomy. At the time about 50 comets were documented. With the return of Comet Halley in 1759, astronomers were fascinated by these bodies that moved quickly against the starfield from night to night. Star clusters and nebulae seemed static and unimportant. So, Messier created a list of fainter distant objects that should not be confused with a diffuse appearing comet. On moonless weekends around the vernal equinox, all 110 objects are visible during a single night. The quest by amateur sky watchers to see them in one night began in the 1970s and continues among some groups. These watches are organized locally in backyards, farm fields, parks, and other dark areas. Some astronomy clubs may publicize an event, but largely they are unknown, organic events of friends and acquaintances with interests to see the entire list. Sky watchers use either computer-guided telescopes that can locate celestial objects or traditional methods with a star map and finder scope attached to the telescope's main body, to aim the larger instrument toward the body of interest. Besides the Messier catalog, another list, known as the New General Catalog, NGC, and its supplements catalogs over 13,000 deep sky objects, those nebulae, star clusters, and galaxies that are far beyond our solar system. The NGC was an expansion of the 19th century list known as the General Catalogue of Nebulae and Clusters. After tackling the Messier list, dedicated sky watchers attempt to locate lists of unique bodies that are subsets of the new General Catalogue. For this season's all-nighter, latitude 25 degrees north is the optimum location to attempt the Messier Marathon session, but sky watchers across the mid-northern latitudes take up the challenge as well. Southern Hemisphere observers cannot see several objects that are too far north. The north-central region of the Astronomical League organized the list into seasonal lists. For example, the group's winter list has 27 objects that can be seen during the season. With this division, the entire set can be observed during the year rather than in single attempt. For a single-night marathon, the session begins during evening twilight to capture the Andromeda Galaxy and its companion, numbers 31 and 32 on the list, and the Triangulum Galaxy, number 33. It is interesting that the Pleiades star cluster, number 45, is on the list, but the Hyades cluster is not included. Both are part of Taurus. As darkness falls, sky watchers move eastward to capture the night's treasures such as the Crab Nebula, number 1, Orion Nebula, number 42, and the Beehive Star Cluster, number 44, among many others. The challenge increases when the Virgo region rises into view before midnight. The galaxies in the far reaches of the universe are visible, such as an elliptical galaxy entered as the 87th item. From the Big Dipper toward the southern horizon, the intergalactic region is dotted with distant galaxies on the list, such as the Whirlpool Galaxy, number 51, and two galaxies, numbers 81 and 82, off the Big Dipper's bowl. When the Milky Way rises into view after midnight, a globular cluster, number 4, is visible near Antares and gas clouds known as the Trifid and Lagoon Nebulas, numbers 8 and 20, softly fluoresce against the galaxy's plane. By this time, sky watchers have likely seen Lyra's Ring Nebula, number 57, and Vulpecula's Dumbbell Nebula, number 27. During morning twilight, the final items in the list are spotted, such as two globular clusters listed as number 22 and 15. Such nights are exciting events and worth the fatigue related to a late winter Messier marathon. Here is today's planet forecast. 3 typically bright planets are in bright sunlight and not visible. Dim Mars rises 66 minutes before daybreak, but with Venus too far away to fit into the same binocular field of view, the planet is a challenging sight. Saturn is slowly entering the eastern morning sky, but it rises only a few minutes before the Sun. Mercury is moving into the evening sky, setting 42 minutes after the Sun. By 30 minutes after sundown, the bright planet is 3 degrees above the western horizon. The speedy world gains 5 to 6 minutes of setting time each evening. It is easier to see in a week or so. In the morning sky, Venus rises 48 minutes before the Sun. It is visible without optical help, but a binocular is helpful to find it. This morning at 20 minutes before the Sun, try to see Venus with a razor-thin moon. In the evening sky, bright Jupiter is less than halfway up in the west-southwest after sunset. The eastward moving planet is east of a line from Aries Hamel to Menkar, part of Cetus. Jupiter and Uranus fit tightly into a binocular field of view. Use the directions in yesterday's article to find the distant planet. Find it before a bright waxing moon washes out the starfield and the dim planet. For sky watchers in the American West, Jupiter's Great Red Spot is visible through a telescope at the center of the planet in the southern hemisphere at 8:44 p.m. PDT. This is after Jupiter sets from the Central Time Zone. Thank you for listening. Please read the articles at whenthecurveslineup.com.